Hello there again, and this time we're going to be looking at reggae grooves which have an influence from the swing or shuffle idea. We'll see how that develops in a second. Again, a bit like jazz, I'm not going to try and claim to be the world's greatest reggae player. I'm certainly not. It's a style I like to use, so it's really cool to play, and you can play it in lots of different ways. But again, we'll develop the idea using groove visualization as my little idea. So in the case of when I'm playing reggae, I literally like to imagine that I am on stage playing in such a style, and there's a whole sea of people out there who are having a fantastic time chilling and grooving away to some of the beats that I'm laying down with the band. Wishful thinking, you might be thinking, but anyway, at least that's how I look at it, and it helps me to develop a sense of how to get this groove happening. All right. So rather like the other ones, we'll start off looking at the groove in the sense of how it might be written in its simplistic form, okay, and then again how we can impart some feel to that idea. All right. So just before we start, once again, of course, should be used to this by now, using the earplugs. Okay, right, so I'm going to start off with a simple use of the groove and the emphasis. I like to call it the emphasis on 3, so it's very simple, just a 1, 2, 3, 4 count, and I'm going to put the emphasis on 3. Okay, so hi-hat, just 4 notes, cross stick or rim click, okay, and a bass drum to go with that on 3. So it's just a simple 4 count, play dead straight like this, okay, so. Okay, that's the simple essence to how to construct the rhythm, or if you like, the foundation from which we can work. But again, it lacks any real sense of feel or life for me. It's not at all organic. There's no dynamics in there. So I'm going to use my groove visualization method. I'm going to start thinking about playing some reggae style, if you like, and be in that band. So I've now got something like this, you know, more. All right, so it's just starting to give it a little bit more life. I feel like I'm actually starting to play some music with that now, and it's just starting to breathe a bit more. So let's try and extend that idea a little bit then, and although we're going to keep the emphasis very much on that 3, you'll start to hear little things being added that will accent different parts of the notes, groupings. Okay, so always got that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, going on, okay, and then I'm going to add these other little bits, and hopefully this will add some texture to it. Now, one of the little tricks that you might want to be aware of, as I'm sure if you've ever listened to any reggae, you'll hear some sounds that sound almost like a timbale, very, very high-pitched sound. Sometimes it might indeed be a timbale, but one of the ways you can get that is to play a rim shot on your snare drum, where you actually play the rim shot very close to the edge. It gets the high frequencies going. So a normal rim shot would be like this. Okay, so it's got some high frequencies, but if I move the stick much further out, then I get a much higher pitch. So that gives you some kind of sound that you could use in that way. All right. All right, of course I've also got my little auxiliary 10-inch snare here, which I'll be using mainly in the next lesson, but just to give you an idea, we could use the same kind of vibe. Okay, but it's very dry sounding. So, okay, so let's just try and develop that idea then. Okay, so we're going to start to add some texture to the hi-hat, and we're going to do this by accepting, if you like, there is this shuffle going on, even if it's not necessarily being played all the time, okay? So we could play a shuffled hi-hat. But you'll tend to find that it's not played quite in such an insistent, driving way, because we're talking about very laid-back music that's very, very easy, smooth. So we want to try and keep it much lazier than that. But there will be elements brought in. Okay, so we'll start off straight, impart my sense of shuffle, and then they might start coming out in the hi-hat. Okay, and look out for some of those little offbeat accents as well. Okay, here we go. So, one, di, 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 di. Okay, just a rough idea of the sort of things you might start to do, and there's a definite sense of the shuffle going on there. So hopefully by now, if you've been watching all this series, you'll see there's a bit of a theme running through here, and it's not just the idea of being able to think of or visualizing some kind of groove. It's the fact that we're actually got a swing or a shuffle thing happening all the time. Hope you spotted that. If you haven't, I've kind of wasted the last few lessons. So hopefully that's the idea. You've got a sense of what's going on, and that should help you to develop some kind of feel for a reggae situation. Again, it's not a style that I get to play very often. You're telling me? Well, okay, there you go. But at least whilst I'm waiting, I can have some fun doing that and keep my sort of hand in, if you like, by working around that. And of course, yep, you can always listen to other stuff and use that too. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this lesson. Hope you have fun with that one. And next time we're going to be looking at the one that can't be swung, apparently, and that's sort of pop, dance, techno, rave type beats, which are generally programmed, of course. So we'll have a look at how we might do some things with that. Okay, see you next time.